everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No matter what time you are watching this, thank you for checking out my video. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can get the latest and greatest of my videos, as well as my Sunday watch list that I do live. It takes a little bit of a time to buffer to get it up, so make sure you don't miss it. This is a special request, this video, for my mom, who wanted to go ahead and learn more about the dark pools and what it is. And I said, Mom, you know what? Let me go ahead and create a video because I'm sure that other people will be able to value this video as well. So if you have a request of something you'd like to see me review or cover, go ahead, shoot it in the comments below or send me an email at jane@cjanetrade.com. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I did put together a little slideshow, and just because it's a lot easier with the information. So the legal disclaimer, this presentation is for educational purposes, and know that there are varying degrees of risk of trading any sort of securities instrument, and no past performance is indicative of future performance. All right, all that out of the way. Here's where you guys can follow me. If you don't know, I'm pretty much all over, and I'm also a trainer in the Training Pit. I teach there twice a week, which is owned by the Stock Whisperer company, which is also owned by Stephanie Camerman, who you guys will be seeing in this video a little bit later. So, how did I discover the dark pools? Well, I wrote a book that started back in 2016, and I released it after my daughter was 4 months old. I spent the time when she was an absolute newborn editing it, and that is where I first met Stephanie Camerman. She's also known as the Stock Whisperer, a great trader, a great friend, a great person overall, and she opened my eyes to the dark pools. So that was back in 2016 when I interviewed her. My book is all about female day traders from around the world, varying timelines of experience and how they found their success. So that's when I was first exposed to the dark pools. And then later at my first Modern Trader Summit that I host, she was one of the speakers, and I really got to see it firsthand. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to learn more about this. And so I joined her room and then went ahead and she opened up the Training Pit, which is for newer members that want to learn how to trade or reset and learn all about the dark pool. So let's get more about the dark pool. What are the dark pools? This is a definition taken from Investopedia, and really the dark pools were set up in the 80s as a location where the big institutional investors could get off large block trades. So what do I mean by a block trade? Well, you know, you might see that somebody's talking about investing in Delta Airlines. You know, Warren Buffett had a position in Delta Airlines and recently sold it. Well, in order to sell all of his shares, maybe he had 20 million shares. I don't know the total amount. But if he wanted to sell all those shares without influencing the market all at once, he more than likely did it in the dark pool. It is a hidden area where these institutional investors can go ahead and place a trade for a large amount, 500,000, 700,000, sometimes 50 million. Saw a crazy one last night, 50 million shares on USO. This is now April 21st when it dropped down today below $3. And I saw that print after close at 346. And the real close was at 375. I was like, uh-oh, hey, this is something to pay attention to. 50 million shares of a stock, and it was done on the dark pool exchange. So when a large hedge fund or investor, institutional investor, wants to go ahead and place those trades, they can do it one of three ways, right? They could call the floor traders and try to get that filled throughout the day for maybe like a 2-day period to try to get the best price possible. They could also split it up into 200,000 lots, or they could slowly do small orders over and over and over again until they finally get their entire position filled. So if somebody wanted to sell 1 million shares, it would take a long period of time. Also, if you're watching the level 2 and you were to see a position for 1 million, right? Maybe you see 100,000 shares. If that was above you, you would likely sell before it got to that price, or vice versa. If you wanted to buy, you would use it potentially as support, or you would buy just before then, or if you were short, you could go ahead and cover before it hit that price. So it was really a way for these really big trades to have the ability to go through, get a good price when there was commissions, right? Then it would be a way for them to get lower commissions because they're dealing with larger number of shares and a good fill. So they could go ahead and they could do these large trades, hundreds of thousands to millions of shares all at once, and get that fill without it showing up on the level 2 that the retail traders see. So who are the people that really trade these? I did mention institutional investors, so you can see here are 3 that popped into my head. Warren Buffett with Berkshire Hathaway, Ray Dalio with the Bridgewater Associates. We've got Bill Ackman with the hedge fund Pershing Square Capital Management. So all of these traders have the ability to trade in the dark pool. Sometimes you will see small lots that go in the dark pool, 200 shares. There are now in 2020 over 50 different dark pools. Some of them are run by the brokerage houses, and there's 3 different kinds. You can check them out more on Investopedia. But they are really set up for the big, massive trades. If you wanted to hide your order, if you've ever done a trade, say you wanted to short or buy a stock and you're hiding your order, you're just showing 1 share, you're in essence putting it in that dark pool because you are hiding the total order, and it becomes what's called an iceberg order at that point. You're just showing a small glimpse of what you really want to trade instead of showing potentially 100,000. Or maybe you see, if you're watching that level 2, that it comes to a price and they keep putting shares there and it's just stalling. You know, that can be an iceberg order where you're just getting a glimpse of it. Like an iceberg shows you that little bit above the water and there's all that ice that's underneath. So it can be a huge, massive order. So it's great to watch the level 2 as well if you are trading as a day trader, because you can see when there's these little iceberg orders that are happening. So how does the dark pool activity really happen, right? This is a concept that's really important because how do we track it? We track it by the result of the activity. So, for example, if somebody wanted to buy 1 million shares of stock, say maybe Disney at $100, you have your big whale, that's the hedge fund, that's the buyer, and they have their order to buy. And then you have all these little guppies, the little sellers that are selling to them. Now, the result is called a print, right? You go back to old times, what happened? You had the ticker tape where the prints actually got printed. How many shares, what price, and at what time, right? That was the old original ticker tape. Now those ticker tapes are all electronic. So when we see one of these big dark pool prints come through, we call it a print, right? Because it's printing the price, the total number of shares, and then that final completion time that they are releasing the information to us. They don't have to release it immediately, but they do have to release it. So that's what we see, and that's what we track in the dark pool. And we track it because if you are looking at 1 million shares of Disney at $100, you're looking at $100 million position, right? So wouldn't you want to follow that amount of money, right? As a retail trader, how many people have $100 million sitting in their brokerage account? Not everybody, right? So it's great to go ahead and be informed about this and profit along with them. So why do we track the dark pools, right? We want to see where the big guys are laying their position. We want to see if they are selling, getting out and taking their profit. Maybe you're in a long-term swing of Disney, right? And all of a sudden you see a big print come in and you've had it for the past 3 months. Hey, maybe you want to go ahead and lock that profit. Just to let you know, that was totally an example on Disney. That's not necessarily a print that we've had that went through. it's just an example for these purposes. Vice versa. Maybe you wanted to go ahead and get into Disney and you see this large print come in and it goes up. Well, we try to keep it fairly simple. You follow the direction of these really big institutional traders, right? So we're bullish when the price action goes above the dark pool print, and we're bearish when the price action goes below the dark pool print. There's more to it than just that. Obviously, there's more to trading than being that simple, but it's more simplified that you keep it, the easier it is to trade. So if you see a massive print coming in, like I saw 50 million last night on USO, it dropped below that price. Well, they were likely selling right at the close yesterday. So here's a great example that it just blew my mind after seeing all this stuff happen. So we have all the way back here, December 13th of 2018, right? Excuse me, I think it was December 26th. And we have the bottom. Well, we happen to see massive dark pool prints, right? And all the prints that I'm going to show you do come from a file that we have in the Java Pit that's proprietary to the Java Pit. So know that. And then up here, it brings us to January of 2020. So we all know what's happened since then, right? But we see this stuff happen in real time. And you have to remember that when you're trading and then there's a massive move, these news reporters are doing what? They're reporting. They always report after the fact, right? They always say, hey, there was a big move. This is the reason why. Well, what happens before that big move? The dark pool prints. And that's why we track them, because we see before the move happens, hey, put up your little antennae, pay attention, something is about to happen. So December 24th, we had 12.2 million dark pool prints on the SPY. I hope you've caught up to what a print is now. And you can see, all right, we had 1,075,000 at 237. That's $255 million worth, right? So then on the 26th, we had another 26.9 million shares. And it's funny because the news at that time was talking about how it was going to be a bear market. It was so negative. Well, where did we go, right? Came all the way back on up here to the top back in 2020. And then what happened in January? Well, 17th, 20th, and 21st, saw a whole bunch of prints again, right? Over $16.9 billion. Is it a coincidence that these happened at the top? I don't think so, right? And then the end of February 2020, 55.9 million shares, right? 55.9 million at almost $300. That's not chump change, right? So if you see this sort of information, it's kind of like, why wouldn't I follow it? That's the way that I felt when I first saw Stephanie's presentation. It was like, hey, I need to learn more about this. And now I, in turn, help to educate other people about this. So we saw all those prints come in. And this was January right here with the blue line. Came back down. We hit our 50 simple moving average. And then this is February. And where did we go? We saw the prints at the top, right? We saw it. We were ready to capitalize on this move, right? Did we see more prints down here? You bet we did. And again, recently, we've seen some crazy prints coming in. Before we had this drop down today on the 21st, we were prepared for this price action. And we hope that you will choose to be prepared too, because it can really help you if you're in something to go ahead and lock that profit or protect it from becoming devastating. So how can you trade around the dark pools, right? Why not follow the guys that have, or ladies, that have billions of dollars in their trade, right? Well, if you're brand new to trading or you want to reset your trading around the dark pool, you can come and join us in the training pit. We have about 35 webinars a month and access to the trading room and access to the dark pool prints and everything like that. And then if you choose not to do that, you can still do self-study around the prints with the dark pool app. If you choose to, that is available on Android and on Apple. And then we also have the Dark Pool Bootcamp, which is 70 hours of live trading and teaching. And we only have about 7 more spots available for May 15th that's coming up. And then the next one is June 3rd for the second week. It is a 2-week process, as I said. So the first week is actually all about day trading, learning about the dark pool. And then that second week is all about swing trading and some of the secrets that we've cracked. So you can check that out. If that doesn't work for you in May, it does happen every quarter. So just reach out to me at jane@thedarkpools.com, or you can also email stephanie@thestockwhisperer.com. And then finally, as a graduate, if you choose to join the Java Pit, you definitely can. You get access to that file, again, of all the prints that we have over the past 2 years. So you can see, hey, is this an important level from the past? If you guys have any questions at all, you can always email me. I'm accessible, or you can follow me at any of these places and shoot me an email there too. I would love to help you guys profit in trading around the dark pool. If you guys have any questions, again, please reach out. I'm 100% accessible, and I would love to help you in your trading journey. Have a great week ahead, and have great profits. Use those profits one trade at a time.